Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500 and welcome back to Project Pearl. You haven't seen Project Pearl for some time and I look back at the old videos on this. We've got the delivery video and we've got day one. Today is day two. That was 2 months ago. I've had this car since the beginning of September. Can you believe it? It's got some issues. If you've watched the other two videos, you'll see what those issues are. There's a few dents around it. I've made a decision on this car, which I have mentioned in other videos. But let me show you, there's another issue now that we need to sort out, when I'm not looking forward to particularly. But let me show you that. So this is day two on Project Pearl. Let's go. So I've had this car for 2 months, since September. Watching back at the videos today, I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt and the sun was out, and it seems a distant memory now that it was lovely and warm still in September. So yeah, because I've had this car for 2 months, looking back at the videos, I remembered that I did do the bumper, so those lights are all sorted, done all that, which is good. Can't remember if I've checked the brakes or not. I don't think I have, so I need to just probably take the wheel. I don't know. I may not even bother. The reason being, I'm not going to do this car for normal sale. I'm going to sell it on eBay really cheap. I'm going to put it up on eBay for $1,950 and see what happens. But I'm going to sort out some of the little issues around it. Now the worst thing, unfortunately, is this. Right, are you prepared for this? Look at that, mould. It stinks as well. Now, only 2 days ago did I put the dehumidifying mould things in the car. Now, I think this is all I mean, apart from the fact it's been sitting around for 2 months, this all stems from, if you remember when we got it, we still got the sellotape marks up there. The first thing I did on day one was to repair, or not even on day one, I think it was on the walk around video, wasn't it? Can't remember. But I put a new mechanism in for the window. So I don't know how long it had been like that for, and it was obviously damp inside, and because it's been sitting around, it's just got nasty. So I'm going to do my best. I don't know whether to wet clean it. Obviously, if I wet clean it, then it's wet still, isn't it? Or whether to use some G101 on it or something like that. What I might do is actually just scrub it with the, I don't know what to do. There's some on the seat as well. Now, as you know, I did get some seats to do this, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to give these a bit of a clean up. I don't think I'm going to bother wet cleaning it because I don't want to make the car wet inside again. What's it like in the back? Oh my God, it's even worse in the back. I hadn't even spotted this. Look at that down there. No wonder it stinks in here. Oh my God, it's awful. I think I don't know what to do. I didn't realise it was as bad as that. So I have ordered a dehumidifier, which will probably come this week. I just got a cheap, like 30 quid one on eBay. I think really I could do with taking these seats out, couldn't I? And giving it a proper wet clean. I think that's what I'm going to do, you know. Yeah. So I was going to replace the seats, and I had bought the seats to do it because of the cigarette burns. But because I'm going to knock it out cheap on eBay, I'm not going to bother. I'm going to keep those seats for another project. I may even steal these because I've got a broken one on my new car. So I might even take these off and swap them over. But I did find one in my shed, and I just want to make sure if it matches, see if it matches or not. Because if it doesn't match, what I might do is take these two off and use them on the other car. Because sometimes the grey is different, and I don't know if the one I found, which also has a bit of mould on it, which is because it's been in the shed for so long. I don't know if that matches. So one way or the other, I'll sort these door cards out. But yeah, oh my God, that mould is horrendous. So I think we need to get these seats out. If I'm taking the seats out, shall I just clean the damn things? I might as well, mightn't I? Maybe I'll put them indoors and let them dry, and then we can put them back in tomorrow. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that, you know. Horrible, isn't it? Really, really horrible. I didn't realise it was quite as bad as that. So what we'll do, I think, is we'll get this all cleaned up. I I'll show you again once I get the seats out, but we'll get it all cleaned up as best we can. And then I'll get the heater in there, and then we will put the dehumidifier in when we get it through. Because ideally what I wanted to do was get it on eBay today, but if I'm going to do that with those seats, then I'm probably not going to be able to do that. But yeah, so I'm going to get the seats out, and we'll go from there and see what happens. Oh, look at the state of it. This is horrendous. I don't reckon these seats were cleaned when this car was written off before. It absolutely stinks in here. Oh, it's horrendous. I'm not taking those ones out. I'm just going to clean those in situ as normal. Oh, it's making me feel quite ill, this. I think I've used G101 on mould before, and it gets it off quite nicely. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a spray, use a brush, and then use the wet cleaner, as you know, do a normal wet clean. And then what I'll do is I might actually, I don't know how much petrol's in it. Rather than have the electric heater on, what I might do is put the car heater, run the engine and have the car heater on. Because until such time as I get that dehumidifier, which might not come till end of this week, I should have bought one on Amazon, although they were a lot more expensive on Amazon. So I got it on eBay. And I think it's going to come this week sometime, but I don't know when. I could do with it now. Oh God, I'm going to have to take some pictures of this for Instagram, I think. Oh, I'm not looking forward to this at all. It's a drizzly day as well, which doesn't help. So what I think, just trying to work out whether to do this first or do the seats first, because obviously the seats need to, yeah, I'm going to do the seats first. As you can see, the ground is soaking wet, so not ideal. It's no fun doing this type of stuff in the winter. I say winter, it's still quite warm. Even though it's like 20th of November today, it's still relatively warm, strangely. You would think it was a different day, wouldn't you? But it's not, it's the same day. And it's now blue sky and the sun's out. And I've just finished. So I've cleaned the seats, they are in the conservatory, and because the sun has moved round as well, the sun is on the seats in the conservatory, so hopefully they'll dry. This looks a bit better, doesn't it? Done the back seats. You know what? It actually smells fresh in here now. Hopefully, that is the last of that mould. I've still got to clean up all these plastics because they're still minging. But yeah, hopefully that's it, mould-wise. Oh, I've got to get in the boot as well, actually, because the carpet in there and the back shelf, which I'm going to take out because it's a black back shelf. It's the wrong one, actually. Although I think I did buy another one as well. While I'm doing it, I've just been thinking, you know, should I advertise it on the mums group and say, look, it's not perfect, it's quite high mileage, it was mouldy. You know, I'll tighten it up as best as I can. It's MOT'd until February, so, you know, I could get it MOT'd, or at least try. You know, it may well pass an MOT. And if it does, then I could knock it out cheap on the mums group. Is it worth that effort, or shall I just get shot? I really don't know what to do. I can't. Now I'm going to all this effort of cleaning the seats, even though there's fag burns on. You know, I'm going to sell it like that. I don't know what to do. It's got a service history, although it's got a stamped service history. Although I think the last stamped service was in 2017. If you look back at the previous videos, I've got a receipt from a garage, £400 and something, which is, I reckon, when the cam belt was done. So as far as we know, the cam belt's been done. I think it was probably serviced around that same sort of time as well. I don't know what to do with it. That's a bit of a problem, that one, because I don't really, you know, because the paint's split there. What do I do with that? Do I try and get the dent out, rub down the split, and then just try and dab a bit of paint in there? You know, because this ain't going to be an easy colour to do any paint. And I've got to do these bits on the bonnet as well, where they're going a little bit rusty. I've got to rub them down a little bit, and then I'm just going to touch them in. I think because it's a 3-stage paint, so you've got your base coat, you've got your pearlescent-y bit, and then you've got your lacquer. What I was contemplating doing is mixing all three together in a little pot and just doing it with a paintbrush. I might try that and see what happens. But now, see, I don't know, when you see this video, I don't know whether I would have made my mind up, but so it may well have gone, because I've got quite a few videos stacked up for the next week and a half. So I'm not sure when you're going to see this, but I don't know what to do with it. What do you think I should do? Should I out it cheap? on eBay, or get maybe another 500 quid for it on the mums group. It's not that bad, but you know, we got some of this is spray, not mould, where I've done the back seat. But we've got some mould here, we've got some mould down here, we've got some mould over the side carpets. It's just minging. Nothing, you know, there might be a little bit on here as well, so we need to give that a good scrub and clean as well. Whoa, there's a blooming bumblebee. It's the 20th of November and there's a bumblebee buzzing around my head. What's going on? Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't decide what to do with it. But yeah, I don't know. Because this would potentially, if I was to spend 50 quid on a MOT, do it to the best of my ability, and say put it up for sale and say, look, I don't know, 250, 2,300, a really cheap 12 plate Cat N with good tyres, it's got some history. I think it's been serviced, but I could always service it as well. And I would make a little bit more. I'm not bothered about the money making on it. It's just whether my heart's in it, doing it or not. I just don't know. I think I need to get it as best as I can and then drive it around a little bit, see what it's like. I didn't have any issues with it when I drove it back, when I picked it up from BCA. No issues at all. It does feel a bit lumpy, but I think that's probably because it's been sitting around for 2 months. It probably just needs a bit of an Italian tune-up. Give it a bit of a slam down the dual carriageway. But yeah, don't know. Really can't decide. Anyway, I'm going to finish cleaning that up. Then I'm going to start the engine, assuming we got enough petrol. I'm not sure how much petrol's in it, but I think I got some petrol on the way back when I picked it up. I can't remember. Anyway, whatever. I'm going to get the heater on in it and see if we can't help to encourage it along to dry out a bit. Right, I'm going to wash it now. Not going to go mad, just in fact not even sure that I need the jet wash, but no, I will, because I'll clean the wheels. Not that they're that dirty. But I'm sort of, whilst I've been going around doing this, I'm thinking about what to do with it. And although I'm still not sure, I don't want to make any rash decisions, because it seems, I mean, you can hear it running. It runs all right, you know. I don't know. I don't know. Now, the problem I've got with this is, well, the main problem I had with this, which is what initially made me sell a previous grey car that I had, if you remember, which I sold cheap, was the lack of a working remote. Now, if I get a remote made, that's £140. I think it's the remote that's 40, not the car. So, probably, if I get a new remote made, it'll probably work. It's whether I chance potentially wasting £140 on a remote key that I can't use. Because the key that I've got, I was just about to get it out and show you again, but it's obviously starting the car. So it starts the car, the key locks the car with the key, but the remote, you've seen it before. So before, I changed the battery, and that was the first thing I did. It made no difference. But I was certain places in the car, by the car, which seemed to be here, I could get it to work, and then all of a sudden it just stopped working again at all. And sometimes when you're driving along, I think if you go anywhere near that key, or your knee goes anywhere near it, I think the slightest little touch on the buttons and it activates the key. And I was going through the motions of unlocking it, I think, and my indicators were flashing as if I was locking it or unlocking it, whichever one it was. So what I think it's doing is probably making contact a lot of the time, and it's running the battery down. And I think it's that bit that's faulty. I don't think there's anything wrong with the car. So if I was to sell it to the mums group, someone on the mums group, I'm going to have to spend £140 getting a new remote key done, in the hope that it locks and unlocks the car. If I sell it on eBay, I'll sell it as is, so I won't have to spend that money. Now, you know, because I don't do this for a living, I've not got to make maximum profit out of a car, so I don't care whether I make £200 on it or £500 on it. It really doesn't bother me. If I spend a little bit more money on getting servicing it, possibly, although I don't think it needs it. 50 quid on, or 46 quid, whatever it is, on an MOT. Any other little bits that need doing. I've already done the steering wheel. I've sorted out those DRLs and all that. I've already bought the number plates, which I haven't put on yet. The only other thing I've really got to do is that key. And then we've got a working car, if it works. We can touch up all the bits. Obviously, we'll be left with this, although I'll try and improve it, and I'll go around and I'll try and improve all the other bits. But we will have, potentially, a fairly decent car that's done 73,000 miles. Now, to me, that's high. I know there's a lot of people out there that have got cars that have done a hell of a lot more mileage than that. And engine-wise, we know that they're rock solid, these engines, as long as you keep them oil and watered. Sorry about that, I was standing right by my neighbour's garage door and she started opening the door, so I quickly stopped recording. I can't actually remember what I was talking about, but so yeah, basically I am now wondering whether to spend that extra money and get a little bit more money, which I don't really care about getting that extra money, but I'm sort of conscious that there is a cost of living crisis, and there are probably people out there who would love to get one of these as a runabout, whether that be for a daughter or for themselves or whatever, that can't afford the 3.5 grand that I charge for most of these types of cars. I mean, I wouldn't charge 3.5 grand for this one anyway, but potentially I could sell this for 250, something like that, which is a bargain. Absolute bargain, but it's got to be relatively up to scratch. Even though there's going to be a few hickeys on the outside, it's got to be relatively up to scratch. We believe the cam belt's been done, so that's a big saving. It's got a service history, so that's good. I mean, generally it's in good condition. I know we've got fag burns in the seats, and I'm not going to change those seats. I'll leave them, but if you're getting them for a bargain price, then you've got to take the rough with the smooth, haven't you? So I am now contemplating maybe doing that and selling it, at least offering it. If I don't get any takers, then I'll stick it on eBay and sell it cheap, but not quite so cheap, especially if I've got a decent key with it, because it will then be a proper car, pretty much. Proper car. But yeah, I think that's what I might do. That's it, washed. Nice and clear. I haven't gone mad. All I've done is snow foamed it, gone over it, and then dried it off with a towel. That's all I've done. If I decide to do what I was just talking about, then it will obviously get a better wash. I'm going to change the number plates anyway, because as soon as I've got them, I might as well, because they're nicer than newer ones. So it's drying off nicely inside. I've literally just switched the engine off because I'm going indoors to have some lunch. So even though someone couldn't really steal it because I've got no seats in it, I don't want to leave it running out here whilst I'm not here. So I think the seats are going to take ages to dry because it's clouded over, so I will get them back in by the end of the day anyway. But yeah, the more I think about it, the more I want to offer it to someone cheap rather than stick it on eBay for someone then to buy, finish it up and then sell it for a massive profit. I'd rather offer it to someone who needs it. I did contemplate making this into my van, because I was going to, as you know, I want to do a Fiat 500 van conversion, but I really wanted to do a red or a black one for that. And I wanted to get, I want to be able to get a really cheap one if I can. Airbags gone, that sort of thing. Right, I made a little start on pulling bits out, so I've pulled that bit out a bit. As you can see, that's a bit straighter now. It's not perfect, but it's much better than it was. Same goes on there. There's just a little bit of a dent there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get some hot glue on there, just to try and pull that final little bit out there. But the first thing I'm going to do is this one. So I warm, can you see it? Yeah, there you go. I know you've seen it before, but I thought I'd show you again. So yeah, I'm going to get the old hot glue on that, warm it up, get the old hot glue on it, and yeah, see if I can get that and improve it. So I might get some of the little pinhead ones on there and see if I can pull it out a little bit, but I don't think I'm going to do much with that, but we'll give it a go. But that's the most important one at the moment, that one. And the wheel arch. I mean, unless you look for that one on the wheel arch now, you can't really see it, to be honest. I'm thankful there's minimal amounts of paintwork that need to be done, but we still need to attack those as well. Whether we'll get that done today or not, I'm not sure. Still drying off inside. I've come back out, and if you can see there, I'd forgotten about that. We've got flashing mileage. I'm assuming that's probably the Blue and Me unit. I can't remember now. I'd need to look back at my original video again. But potentially I might have to take that out as well. But it all depends on what we do with it, I think. But yeah, let's get this done. I'll get set up. It's a bit difficult to film this because I'm right up against the wall, so I can't really get the tripod here to film it. I might give it a go. I'll try it. I'll be back shortly. Right, I've set my tripod up. I'm a bit limited for room here, so I can only really get one on at a time. Oh, what's happened to the focus? Oh, I'm zoomed in. So I can only really get one on these areas at a time. So I've got one on there, and one on there. So I've literally got to do it one at a time, unfortunately. So we'll let that go off for a little while, a minute. So I think sometimes with these, I mean, obviously there are different qualities of glue. Some of the videos I see online, people doing sills mainly, where they put the big long ones across a sill, and they are really, really tugging on it, and it don't come off, and they even have a job getting it off sometimes. And I think, what on earth is the glue that they're using? Because this is, I mean, I think I got this from eBay, but you know, it does the job, but sometimes I feel it comes off a little bit too easily. Better in the summer, I have to say, rather than doing it in the winter. But we're just going to let that go off for a sec, and then we'll come back and we'll see if we can see how much we can pull it out. It's not going to take one go, it's going to take several goes, but we'll just get it as good as we can, really. I meant to heat it up first, actually. I completely forgot, and I didn't clean it either. I'll do that the next time around. Right, I'm not actually sure whether I just filmed that because I had an error on the camera, because the battery, I put a new battery in and it was discharged. So I'm not sure if it did it, but in case you hadn't seen it, I'd forgotten to clean it and warm it up, so it came straight off, didn't actually do anything. So we'll give it another try. This is better. Take that off. Yeah, it's come out a bit. It has come out a bit. I think we need to use some smaller ones. Let's try something a bit smaller. So, sometimes I don't know whether it's better to use this slide hammer to do it. So I've got both of these just in shot. So this may come off really easy. This is I've broken this slide hammer actually. I've got nothing to grip onto the other end. But let's try it. Don't know. Try this one. See, that came off straight away. Again, that's because I hadn't cleaned it. I'd completely forgotten to clean it, and I'd completely forgotten to heat it up as well. So we'll clean it now, and then we'll warm them up. And then we'll come back to the other one. So yeah, let's try this one. So I'm only really just about getting this in shot, aren't I? Plenty of glue. It's coming out quite well, this one. I mean, the slide hammer did most of that. So what we'll do, I'm going to try this top one again. I think we'll come back on this one in a second to show you. But yeah, as I say, difficult to film. Oh dear, we have a bit of an issue. So I managed to get that dent out using the little dent pulling tool there. However, unfortunately, it's taken the paint off. There's filler under there. So I'm going to have to try and paint that, which I really didn't want to have to do because of this colour. So I'm just going to have to sand down these edges and get some paint on it. And what I'll do is I'll do all the other touch-ups first and see how it goes on. And then we might have to try and mask that off and spray it. I've given up trying to do that. I didn't think I was going to be able to do that. It's too much of a pinhole. I mean, I might potentially be able to get behind it, take the door card off and get behind it and push it out a little bit. And the same goes for that one on the other door actually. But these ones I've resorted to using two small ones instead of the bigger ones, but they keep coming off too easily. But I think that it's definitely better using this. Definitely better using this, although it has just pulled that paint off, of course, using that. I guess I softened it up as well by heating it, but that's a nuisance. Didn't want that to happen. Really didn't want that to happen. Never mind. So as I say, it is difficult to film this. If it was around the other side, it'd be alright. I could film it okay, but it is difficult. So what we'll do what we can, and then we'll come back. And I think I'm going to have a little attack with that bonnet. I'm just going to get some wet and dry on it. and try and just take that rust off and see if we can tart it up a little bit. It's not going to be perfect, but you know, this car's not, so I'm just going to do the best job I can with a paintbrush, basically. As I say, I'm going to mix all 3 paints. I'm going to do, I think before I do that, I'm going to mix all 3 paints, and I'm going to do that first and see how that comes out. I'll do that with a brush in a little pot, and we'll see how it comes out, and then we might wet sand it and polish it afterwards. And if that does it, then, you know, obviously I won't be able to wet sand it today, but at least I'll be able to you know, see how it comes out and potentially do the same thing on the bonnet as well. I'm making a little bit of progress. So there were lots of scratches on the bottom down there, and I've touched them all in with the pearl base coat. So what I've done is I've marked them up, pearl 1 and pearl 2. It does say on here on the can 2 and 1. So they're both 270A Bianco Giorgio. One is the base coat and one's the actual pearly bit. So if you look at them here, so that's one that I mixed up. That's all 3. That didn't work at all. In there is number 1, and as you can see in there is number 2. There's not much of it left, which is a lot whiter, and the pearlier bit. So that's the pearl and that's the base coat. So what I've done, I have done some touching up on the back, but what I've also done is I've got an old spray out card, and I've just done a coat of the base. So I'm going to let that go off, and then I'm going to spray pearl 2 over it and see what it looks like. Because obviously because I've messed this up, I've now got to have to paint that, so I'm going to have to rub that down, and hopefully it'll come out all right. It's got to be done regardless, so even if it don't look very good, I've got to do it. So I've gone around and I've touched up a few bits and pieces. I've touched that up. It sticks out like a sore thumb because it protrudes more than the actual you know, the surface, so I'm going to have to wet sand that back. I may put some more on it, but I started off with that with all 3 mixed together. It wasn't filling where it was down to the black, it wasn't filling it at all, so I took it all off, and then I put the base coat on, and then I've just gone over it a couple of times with more base coat, and then so far I put 1 coat of the pearl on it, and it is starting to blend in. I mean, it is still wet at the moment, but it is starting to blend in. So I thought, yeah, I can't do that on that great big bit, so I'm going to have to paint it. And when you look at that, that looks very, very creamy, doesn't it? But I suppose the pearly colour, because the pearly is more white, it fills that in a bit. Now that was painted black-ish, where I've used that spray out card for when I've painted wheels black. So it's not ideal, but it will give me an idea of when I put that pearl over it, whether it's going to look anything like this. Fingers crossed it does. So I am actually starting to lose the light now. Probably only got about 45 minutes left of daylight. We've had the engine running almost all the time since I've been doing this. I'm still doing this. I've done it about 4 more times on there, and it is almost out. We're getting there. We are getting there. So I'll probably call it a day on this soon, but I will probably come back to it and just give it another go on another day. But we're getting there with it. It is improving. It is definitely improving. So I still don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I might put it back on the back burner because I've got the other car, which is more important to start on, and I wanted to start on the other car on Friday, although I am doing some painting for somebody on Friday. So if you remember Project Katie, which is the Glam Coral car, I'm not sure if I included it on the channel a couple of weeks, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. They brought their car round. What did I do for them? Oh, door handle hinge. Yeah, I did the door handle hinge, and he messaged me 2 days later and said it's broken again. So I thought, has someone been trying to get into his car and really been yanking it? I don't know. But so he came round again, and his wife brought it round this time for me to do. For some reason, she reversed it down the drive, and she reversed it straight into next door's porch, the brick porch, the corner of the bumper. So she sort of ripped all the corner of the bumper, scratches, deep gouges, and what have you. So she said, "Oh my God!" She was absolutely devastated. She had her kids with her as well, and she said, "As I was reversing back, I was watching the kids. Wasn't watching where she was reversing." And yeah, she was. I mean, the car was still immaculate, and she was absolutely gutted. And she said, "How much do you think that will cost me to get repaired?" And I said, "You got to be looking at £200 or £300 at least." I said, "To take to a body shop, you know, they're going to have to paint the entire bumper at least." And then I messaged her. I felt so bad. It wasn't my fault, but I felt so bad for her that I messaged her husband and I said, "Look, if you want me to do it, I said it's not going to be a body shop finish by any stretch of the imagination, but I said if you want me to do it, I'll get the paint and I'll charge you, I think I said charge you 50 quid to do it. So he's bringing it down on Friday morning, and I'm going to see if I can get it done the same day. Ideally I'll keep it overnight and then polish it up the next day, but I'm just going to do the best job I can. I don't know what it's going to be like. If it's no good, if it's really bad, I'll say, look, I'm not going to charge you for it. But I'm going to do the best job I can, and hopefully it'll be relatively acceptable. But again, you know, this time of the year, it all depends on the weather. I'm not sure I have got paint, and I'm not sure whether I actually, apart from touching in, I'm not sure I actually did any spraying with that colour. I might have done on the previous one that colour, because I've had two that colour. I think I did on the other one, and it came out all right, as I remember. But we won't know until we try it. So that's Friday anyway. So this one might go, not on the back burner as such, so I will still dip in and out of this one, but I want to get started on the facelift one that I've got, that you've already seen, because I've got most of the parts now, so I want to make a start on that. So what we'll do is we'll keep dipping in and out of this one. If we're going to get it MOT'd, the MOT is valid till February, so we've got plenty of time. And it just means that, you know, we won't buy another car until we got this one done. Yeah, seats are still soaking wet, so I'm probably going to leave the seats out. I'm hoping, what I might do is get into it and use my little stall and reverse back so I can bring the car forward, because I don't think there'll be enough room for my neighbour to get his van down. Oops, get his van down the drive. So yeah, I might do that. Okay, a couple of days has passed. Today is Wednesday. We last saw you on Monday when we cleaned these seats. Now, I'm actually, first time, I'm really disappointed in how these seats have come out. They are still dirty. You can see some wet marks on the back there. I've just gone over them with some G101. I am actually going to replace this seat, I've decided. So I have made a bit of a decision on this car. Let me just show you the other seat while I'm telling you about it. So I booked an MOT for it for next week. So I am going to put it through the MOT, see what happens, and then I think, I can't see any reason why it won't pass, or, you know, there can't be, I don't think there's going to be much wrong with it, if anything. And I am decided that I think I am going to sell it cheap, but to a person rather than on eBay, if you see what I mean. Yeah, so for that reason, I'm going to change that seat base, because I've got one. Which did I I know it was up in my loft. I can't remember if I brought it down. I think it might still be up in the loft. So I'll replace just the base. It's still really dirty, and I don't understand why. So I'm going to have to go over it again. You know, I didn't actually use the brush because of mould and whatever. I didn't use the brush that I normally use. But I'm not going to wet clean it again, at least not at the moment. But I think I'm going to use that stuff that I normally use, the foam stuff. I'm not going to do it now, because my plan is I'm going to work tomorrow, and my plan is to use this for work tomorrow, and I'm going to see how it performs. As I say, I did drive it back when I picked it up from BCA, and it drove fine. Obviously I've got to do I've done that. I don't know what it is, but I think I pushed the seat up against it, and I've left a red mark on there, scratched it a bit, so I'm going to have to try and get that out. I think it was me that did that. I can't think what else it could be, except for something on the side of the seat. Might be the seatbelt clasp or something like that, I don't know. But this thing here, which I've got to now bloody well do, as I showed you the other day, I did a spray out card. Let me just grab it. I mean, it looks awful because it was on an old spray out card that's got loads of gunk and what have you over it, but so I put the pearlescent over it. I put the base coat on, and then I put the pearlescent over it. But if you put it up against the car, there's nothing like it. Absolutely nothing like it whatsoever. It's really creamy, completely and utterly the wrong colour. So it's not until you get really close to it you can see the pearlescent. It's really strange. Although I think some bits of it look more pearlescent than others. Yeah, it's really weird. I think this has obviously been repaired at some point, and you can see a difference between that rear quarter and that door. Definitely see a difference. Both pearlescent, but that's more pearlescent than that. So bearing in mind this was a Cat N before. So I touched that up, I showed you that on the other video. It looks bloody awful. So I'm going to do it some more, and I will get that rubbed down, and I'll just keep going on it, keep going until I can improve it and hopefully get it acceptable. But you know, as I say, I am going to sell this off cheap. So I'm still thinking around like the 2,300 mark, something like that. My dehumidifier came today, and I've had it in the back of the car. I've had it in there for about 3 hours. Not a thing. Absolutely zero in there. Nothing. So I don't know how long it takes. Oh, hang on. No, I say that. Oh, no, I do tell a lie. There is a little bit in the bottom there, see? See it moving? Tiny bit, not very much. So I will be putting it back in there. Oh, sorry about that. I just had a massive sneeze. I could feel it coming on. So yeah, I'm going to have to attack these seats again, whether I end up having to wet clean them again or not. The one I've got up in the loft is quite dirty anyway, because it's been up in the loft, so that needs to be cleaned again. So I might at some point, maybe next week, or maybe Friday actually, because I'm going to finish off working on this on Friday morning before I do that orange car that's coming back. And I really wanted to start my new project today, on Friday. So I can't do all 3 cars on the same day, but I want to get this done and then ready for its MOT for next week, and then I can just park it up and forget about it until then. So I will concentrate on this on Friday, see if we can get it up to scratch. There's lots of bits of cleaning and what have you. All this has all got to be done, but that can be done later. I might give the door cards a bit of a clean up now. But I mean, the smell in here is so much better. So I'm going to put the dehumidifier back. I'm not going to put I'll probably, maybe at the weekend, what I'll do is I'll get the old smoke machine in here, and that other machine as well. Forgotten what it's called. I keep forgetting what it's called. Whatever it is, you know it's what I mean. But I'll show that to you again later, because you haven't seen that. I haven't used that for quite some time, so I'll show you that later on in this video. I am conscious that I've done a lot of waffling in this video, but there's quite a lot to waffle about, isn't there? It seems to be drying here, and we have had some rain, because I was a bit concerned that the boot thing was quite wet. The carpet, it was quite wet, and I didn't know whether there was water getting in somewhere. But this is all completely dry. As I say, we've had rain since, and there's nothing in there. That's why I've left the spare wheel out, just to make sure it stayed dry. But I'm not going to put it back in just yet. We'll let it rain on it a little bit more before we do that. So still lots to do, but as I say, I've got MOT 1 o'clock on Thursday, next Thursday, so just over a week's time. So I'm actually off Wednesday and Thursday next week, so if I don't do this on Friday, I can always get it done on Wednesday to get it finished off and ready. So the only reason I'm back at it now, I'm actually in my lunch break at the moment. I'm working from home today, so I just cleaned up these areas down here, both sides. I'm going to get the rear seat in. It's all nice and dry now. It's just a shame it's still a bit dirty. So's the bench actually. That's a bit dirty, so I might give that a bit of a scrub now as well with that other stuff. But yeah, at least the mould's gone, and it smells fresher. It's just a shame that it's still a bit on the grubby side. But I think they do show up the dirt on here. But yeah, it's really, really dirty still, which is a shame. If I have to go over them again with a wet machine, I will. I won't have to go mad with it, but I'll just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. The door cards come up all right. The material part, they're all right. It's just the seats. But again, you know, I might be nicking these ones and using them in a different car. Possibly. Anyway, let's get the rear seat in. So what we'll do is we'll come back Friday, and then we'll see what we're going to do about these seats, and we'll have a go at these bits of paint and what have you, and see if we can get it up to scratch. So I'll see you Friday. Right, morning, it's Friday. Another 2 days has passed. So I used this for work yesterday. It runs absolutely spot on, absolutely fine. I don't have the carpet and the spare wheel in the boot, so there's quite a lot of road noise, and I think I can hear what sounds like a wheel bearing. It's not a massively loud sound, but it is quite annoying. That may disappear. I don't recall hearing that when I drove it back from when I picked the car up. So it might be something that's deadened when the spare wheel is in, the carpet is in, and the back shelf is in. So I'm not going to do anything about it at the moment. I'm going to wait and see. But as far as running is concerned, it runs absolutely spot on. It does still smell a little bit smelly inside, and I think it is potentially still a tiny little bit damp in there. There's no mold, there's no more mold growing or anything. But obviously the car. Oh, actually, yes, there is. Look, it's coming back. It is coming back. So I need to. Yeah, I thought it was. I had a feeling it was. I think it's only there. I don't think it's anywhere else, but we'll get that off. So, as you know, I've got the MOT booked for next week. I actually changed it because I'm going to a wedding on Thursday, so I've actually changed it to Wednesday. So, don't think there's pretty much not a lot to do. However, what I discovered the other day, which I never knew about, was this seatbelt is locking. Now I'm going to sit in the seat and try and do it up, but it appears to be locking. So I reckon this was probably gone and they've never changed it. You can't actually pull it out, it just keeps locking. And the other one is quite stiff. Now I have got seat belts. I might try and loosen that one up. That one works fine, but this one, obviously, if you can't pull it out and fasten it, then that's going to fail the MOT. Luckily, I've got some spares. So I can change it. Had I been selling it on eBay, I wouldn't bother. And there is still a possibility that I might sell it on eBay. It depends whether it fails the MOT. If it fails the MOT miserably, I'm not spending money on it. I'll sell it as it is. I say I'm not spending money on it. I don't mind spending a few quid. You know, if a bottom arm's gone or something like that, I don't mind doing that. But I'm not going to be spending lots of money. I'm not going to do, I don't know, steering racks and stuff like that. You know, just on the off chance that something like that has gone. I won't be doing that. So obviously we won't know till next week, and that will come in next week's video as well. It won't be in this video because I'm conscious this video is getting a bit long. So I'll get those seatbelts done today. First thing I'm going to do is a proxy alignment on the car, because I want to see. The Blue and Me is actually playing silly beggars. Let me just jump in the car. It's a bit cold and windy today. You might notice that one in front of me, Katie. I mentioned that earlier on in the video, I think, so we'll come on to that in a second. But I won't demonstrate because it means I've got to turn stereo on. But what's happening is, if you remember, I changed the steering wheel and the airbag, which I'd actually forgotten about, and I put that onto my cost sheet the other day. Had I been selling it on eBay, and if I do sell it on eBay, I might even put the old one back on. Not the airbag though, because the airbag was destroyed around here, so I won't do that. I'd keep this airbag. But this is, although it's got a few dents in it, this is infinitely better than the one that was on it. But it depends on whether I sell it on the mums group. I did stick, I have a private group, which is the Love 500 group, which some of you have been members of. It's not one that you can find if you do a search, so you can't join it. You have to be invited to join it. But it's more for the local sort of, you know, locals who want cars type thing. So that's why I don't have it open to the general public. And I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, so I put on there about my next project. I just put a couple of photographs from BCA on it, just saying that it's not up to my usual standard. I'm going to be selling it cheap. I'm thinking if someone wants a cheap runabout, I've got it booked for an MOT. It depends what happens at the MOT, blah, 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 blah. And I got a message almost instantaneous that said, we're really interested in that. Please let us know when you... is that cobwebs? Yeah, got bloody cobwebs. please let me know when you've had the MOT. So we'll see what the MOT brings, but that will be what will make my definitive decision. So if it does go on eBay, steering wheel will go back to the original one. I've digressed a little bit. We were talking about Blue and Me, weren't we? And seatbelts obviously need to be sorted out as well. So if I touch the up and down buttons, volume buttons, Blue and Me chirps up and says new messages, the volume doesn't work. These buttons don't seem to do anything. If I press the Windows button, again, it says no messages. So I don't know whether the Blue and Me is busted or whether it just needs a proxy alignment. So I'm going to do a proxy alignment first, see what happens. If it don't work, I'm taking it out and putting another one in. Yeah, because that's, again, if it was being sold on eBay, then it wouldn't matter so much. But because it's not, well, because it's probably not, I need to at least have that working properly. Again, if I put another one in and it still don't work, eBay. But I did put this new steering wheel on, and it could be the buttons themselves. I don't think it is. They don't feel dodgy. If need be, I'll take these off and give them a contact cleaner underneath to do something with them. But I think it's the Blue and Me. Yeah, so that's the plan for today. Do a proxy alignment. That'd be the first thing to do. If that doesn't work, we'll get the Blue and Me unit out. At the same time we're doing that, we can change that seat belt, because obviously once that panel's off, we can change the seat belt as well. I'm going to try pulling the reel out on this seat belt, because it works fine, it's just a bit on the stiff side. So what I'm going to try and do is pull the reel out all the way and then take the little panel off at the bottom, so you can get to the actual mechanism. And I'm going to squirt some WD in there, see what it does, and then reel it in and out, and see if it frees it up, because I don't want to change that one if it's not necessary. It's unnecessary expense. As I say, I have got two good ones, which I bought some time ago. I think I got the pair for 80 quid, 75 quid, something like that. But everything else is okay. Yeah. As I say, it runs fine. Runs absolutely fine. Don't think I need to service it. I think I mentioned that before. There is that receipt for 400 and something pounds, and I will be ringing that garage up to find out exactly what they did, because I think they probably serviced it as well as the cam belt, but we'll see. Anyway, that's it for now. So we'll do the proxy alignment. We'll come back and let you know how that went, and then we'll take that panel out and get the Blue and Me out. So we'll be back very shortly. So we got this one back today. Project Katie, if you remember, which was the pop star. Got lots of bird poo over it. They brought it round, I think I mentioned this before, but they brought this car round to me twice within a space of a week, to do the handle hinge, passenger side handle hinge. I did it. 2 days later he messaged me and said it's broken again, and I put a brand new hinge on. Did he supply it? No, I supplied it, I think. No, he supplied it. Yeah, no, he supplied the hinge. So we bought another one, which he said was a better one. To me, it looked exactly the same. And I put on. So I did question whether someone has actually tried to get into the car and yanked the handle. But that was about a month ago, and it's all right now. However, when he brought it the second time, his wife brought it, and she reversed it down the driveway, and she reversed it into next door's porch. She had her 2 kids with her who were on my drive, and she was watching them and not watching where she was coming. And unfortunately, she reversed into the porch, causing this damage, which she was absolutely gutted about. So she asked me how much that would cost to repair, and I said, well, take it to body shop, you've got to be looking 250, 300 quid minimum to do the little repair and then paint the bumper in. And I've said, like, I'll do it for you. I said, I don't know how good it'll be, but I'll make a best job I can out of it. I'll do it for you, I'll charge you for the paint, and I'll do it for 50 quid. So they're not going to get a professional job, they know that. I'll do the best I can. So that's the plan. First thing to do today, to get that down, get that rubbed down, filled if necessary. I think it's gone they're quite deep, some of these scratches. Some of them are only surface, but a lot of them are quite deep. We'll that bit, tiny little bit there, can just be touched in. It's not a problem. So we'll mask all this off. We'll rub this down. We'll get some filler in there. I'll probably just use dolphin glaze because it is only on the surface. I mean, they're quite deep, but I don't think it warrants, proper filler. We'll get some dolphin glaze in there. Do what we can with it. I've got to get that done today because, ideally you polish it the following day. But I'm working tomorrow, so I need to get it done today. So I'm just going to clean it down, get it rubbed, or rub it down, clean it up. What we'll do is we'll come back once I've got it in a bit of filler, and we'll show you what we're doing. I'm not going to go massively into this today. I'm just going to make the best job I can out of it, just to tidy it up, and then hopefully you can come back later on and get it. Right, so I'm going to get on with that now. Yeah, as I suspected, I've done the old diagnostics. No errors on the dash, no errors on the body computer, apart from a couple of intermittent ones which were blue, which were just cleared. Tried to connect to the Blue and Me, and it failed. Tried and did a proxy alignment, and it came out with a timeout error on the Blue and Me. So the Blue and Me unit is broken. So I am going to get that out now, and at the same time, I will do that seatbelt. So I'm just going to sit in the passenger seat and try the seatbelt, just so you're at the right angle. I'm not expecting it to work at all, but we'll do that, and then we'll get that back panel off and get it out. We have got some strange things going on. So you saw me take out the Blue and Me and the seatbelt. I've replaced the seatbelt. I put a new one in. Say new one, second-hand one in. I have repaired the Blue and Me, and I've put it back in, and it's still doing the same thing. The mileage has stopped flashing, but I haven't done proxy alignment or anything like that. But they are, plug and play, so to speak. It's only the proxy alignment just aligns it to the car. It will still work. And I'm getting strange things come up when you press the buttons. When you press the source button, it said searching for connection, try again later. When I pressed the volume up and down buttons, it tries to connect. When you press the actual Windows button, which is the one you're meant to press, it doesn't actually do anything. Oh, it mutes. Now the one above is mute, so it's got to be those buttons. So I think I'm gonna swap the steering wheels back. I think there's something wrong with those buttons, or I might just take the entire button layout out, because I'm not sure if it was this car or not. I get mixed up now, but I think it was these I changed, wasn't it? I took the originals off and put them on to this steering wheel, but just the top bits, because they were discoloured. So what I might do is swap it out with the original wheel, swap the bottoms out, because you can get them out, so you don't need to change the whole wheel. You've got to take the airbag off to do it, I think. I don't think you can get them out without taking the airbag off, but that's obviously not a big issue anyway. But we won't worry about it for the time being, because obviously MOT, it was a seatbelt more than anything that I wanted to do. So it's not the fact that I've repaired it, because I've got two other good ones that I've also repaired. Oh, sorry, one is a good one, and one is another one that I've repaired, which are both doing the same thing. So it's not the Blue and Me, I think it's the controls. So that will obviously need some further investigation, but as I say, we won't worry about too much about that at the moment. I just wanted to get the seatbelt done as well, so I can get it all back together. So I'm not going to bother filming it. I know I've filmed up to now on time lapse, but we'll get it all back together. If I get time today, then I will try and swap those buttons as well. But as I say, there's no urgency to do that at all. Yeah, the main things were getting that seatbelt done, because obviously, as I say, it'll fail the MOT if I don't do that, and I need to try and free up that one. I need to have a go at this as well. I might have a go at this later, but yeah. So we've got a Blue and Me in there, and hopefully it should work. Well, will work, I think, once we've sorted out those buttons, because it's definitely the buttons. Anyway, we'll be back once we get it all back together again. Right, we've got all our base coat on. It's all repaired. And you know what? This is the best repair I've ever done. Do you think? I'm wondering if I took more care because it wasn't my car. Do you think? No. I mean, I haven't got any lacquer on it yet, so colour-wise it looks good. I'm going to put some lacquer on in a minute. I'm just warming it up in some hot water down there. But I don't know. you cannot see the repair. And whenever I've done these before, maybe you will be able to when you've when we got the lacquer on, but at the moment, even if I get up close, you can't see it. You cannot see the repair. I think he's going to be over the moon. As long as it matches and it's nice and shiny, which it should be, no reason why it shouldn't be. I have got to get it polished today though, because I'm working tomorrow. I can't leave it overnight. It's about 12:30, half midday now. So I'm going to, 5-10 minutes time, I'm going to get the lacquer on. So we'll do 3 or 4 coats of lacquer, and then we'll leave it as long as we possibly can this afternoon before it gets dark to get it polished up. So hopefully we'll get maybe 3 hours, and then we'll do. I'm not going to do a wet sand. I'm just going to do a buff. Yeah. See how it comes out. But yeah, well pleased with it at the moment. Right, I think what we're going to do is we're going to leave the video here for now. We'll wrap up. It's getting quite long, this one now. I don't want to get it too long. And then we'll come back on MOT day. And then obviously we'll show you the result of the MOT. Fingers crossed. Since that little video that I shot about the red car, the Glam Coral car, I had a message from the buyer of... I'm trying to remember the name of it. I can't remember the name of the project. It was the last beige car I did. Yeah, can't remember the name of it for the life of me. I'll put it on the screen now. Very similar damage. Someone in another car had clonked her car, and her dad messaged me. I asked him to send me some pics, and it's not as bad as that one, but very similar. But he wants me to fix it for him, so I've said I will. Unfortunately, the weather has taken a turn. As you can see, it's very cold. It's not freezing. It's not 0 degrees, but it's not far from it. So obviously, not the ideal time for doing painting. And I'm too busy at the moment anyway with my own projects. So I said to him, it's going to be a good couple of weeks. So that'll be sort of mid-December probably. But I'm obviously reliant on... Today would be an ideal day weather-wise because it's blue sky, but it's really cold. It's only a bit, it's only exactly the same place on the same side. So I'll see what I can do. I can always warm up the panel, I suppose. It's with the heat gun, but not ideal, obviously. But obviously, when we do come to that, we'll film it and stick it in with one of the other videos somewhere. Anyway, that's it for the moment on this one. We'll be back, as I say, next week when we have MOT, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, don't forget, as always, if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up. And until the next one, as always, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.